Hey Scott, I am James from MovieWeb. It is a pleasure to talk to you today about Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare Man. Listen,
Oh.
you have really uh raised the bar for Poohniverse movies going forward here, man. This was so well done. I went into this, I was expecting something a little more fantastical, a little more heavy on gore, but it was none of that, man. It was really character driven, it was really grounded. I mean, the gore was there, but but it wasn't front and center. So I was really impressed by this. I mean, when you were sitting down to write it, was the idea all along to make something that was grounded, or did you have other ideas before you landed on this one?
Yeah, thanks for that. So we actually have an entirely different script, and that was the script that we started with. It was me and Leslie. We'd written it together, and it was way more fantastical. It was set completely in Neverland, all this kind of stuff. It works as a great sequel, but I got cold feet about making it just because I felt like after our experience on Winnie the Pooh 2, we probably went too high. Like the rave massacre was very intense to the point where like Reese threw up on set. Like I'm not even joking. It
Oh
was so
wow.
difficult. So I kind of thought I don't think I can achieve this to the best abilities. So I'm gonna rethink this, and it could work as a sequel if I get the money that it needs. But I didn't want to kind of like just go too high and not be able to achieve something like to a good standard. So I kind of thought like what feels right for this movie. And as I say with the Poohniverse movies, every single entry will feel different. So if you don't like one, you may like the other. So for example, if you don't like the B movie campiness of Winnie, you may like this because it's actually way more serious. But yeah, I kind of love French cinema. So like Switchblade Romance, Inside, those type of films, they're like some of my favorite films. And an Australian true crime called Hounds of Love, they're like three of my favorite films. And because I come from an acting background before I started directing and writing, I've always been into like kind of characters and characters that aren't perfect and putting them in situations where you go, what would you do next? But then putting obstacles there and all that. So it kind of just it excited me. So that's kind of why I lent into this because I felt like I could direct the actors, I could get some good performances, and hopefully create a journey that you'd be on board with. So yeah.
Absolutely, man. Listen, you did a great job. I'm
Oh, thanks.
curious, when you sit down to create all these movies, these horror movies from kid stories, which, are horror stories in their own right sometimes.
Hmm.
Did you know when you started out on this journey that they were kind of gonna strike a chord? Did you know they were gonna be a little controversial? Was that an aspect you were expecting, like, from all these movies?
No, no. So like we do get like a lot of hate stuff, like a lot of hate messages, and it is so crazy because we're really not like me and Reese are really like just normal. We're not setting out to be like these evil little duo or anything or like anything like that. But basically, I like in my producing history, like I have made over 100 feature films at this point, and I was just trying to get a bit more clickbait stuff to try and get me to that next level because I wanted to try and get bigger budgets. And I was making stuff like Humpty Dumpty. And then one day I just saw on Twitter that Winnie the Pooh had gone in the public domain. And I thought, great, cool, you can be the new Jason Voorhees, done. And then in the year that I made Winnie the Pooh, I made 47 films. And I also acted in a movie and a TV show. So it was a busy, busy, busy year. And Winnie really was just on this conveyor belt and it just blew up. But obviously, then it gave me the opportunity for Winnie too. So I'm very, very grateful for it. I wish I could have gone back and just reshot the entire movie because the original was shot in 6 days on only £25,000. But it is what it is, and it's got me to where I am, and I feel very grateful. But yeah, I definitely didn't expect it to do what it has.
Yeah.
I've always had to think backwards from my filmmaking career, like because I make such low budget films. It's like, what's your DVD cover? What is the synopsis? What are your hooks? So I've always had to think like that before I just come up with a script because I've never been fortunate enough to come up with like a script and then a studio's gone, I'd love to make it. It's never been a thing for me. I've always had to work backwards of how they will make money on that project. So yeah,
It's like you're implying the old William Castle aspect of
yeah,
filmmaking.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, man, the cast in this was great, but I want to highlight Martin Portlock as Peter Pan. He was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, influences from Heath Ledger's Joker. There was a bit of I saw a bit of Brad Dourif in there from The Exorcist 3. I mean, where did you
Uh-huh.
find him?
So yeah, he's incredible. Like I'm very, very lucky with him. And what he had to go through with the prosthetics and stuff, I was terrified because in the past, not naming names, we've had some people that say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I love prosthetics," and then they get there on the day, and it is really horrible. Like you're in these prosthetics for hours and hours and hours, and they complain and stuff. And I was thinking, I've got to really get on with this person. Do you know what I mean? Like, and them being negative can really just destroy my set. So I auditioned, honestly, all in all, about 200 actors because not because I just was auditioning anyone. I did batches. So I did my first batch. I didn't find anyone I liked. They were all kind of just playing villain and stuff. I don't like that. I like people that, when they think it, you see it in their eyes. That's the type of acting that I enjoy doing. That's what I want to direct. That's why, like, you'll notice a lot of close-ups when I direct because I really like seeing the emotion come out of the eyes, not physically out of the body. So yeah, basically, long story short, I had auditioned literally near 200 people, was getting really worried, and my makeup artist said, "There's this guy that I worked with, da 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 da." Saw his image, like his headshot, and I was like, "Well, you're gonna work great with prosthetics, but can you now do the role?" So I auditioned him. He was great, like genuinely great, and I was like sold, love him. But then I had to get on the phone to him, make sure number one we got on is so important because I need someone that's going to trust me because I'm going to ask him to do a lot in this and a lot of variations for my edit and also just the prosthetics. But we got on the phone, we really got on really well, and I was not disappointed. And he's now a close friend, so I'm
That's
very lucky.
awesome, man. All
Yeah.
right, listen, Scott, I know my time is coming to a close. So one more question for you. We
Uh-huh.
still got characters like Bambi, Pinocchio to go. Aside from your own film,
Hmm.
which one do you feel is going to ruin the most childhoods? Which one do you think is going to make
Oh,
people go, ah?
easy, Pinocchio Unstrung. It's maybe the best film we've now made. He is the lead character, which was important to me and Reese. We wanted him to be the lead. There's no CGI. It's all practical. It's animatronics and stuff. Yeah, me too. And yeah, there's no no dissing on it, but there's no Annabelle stuff where it just sits there staring. It moves, it talks, it runs, it kills.
Fantastic.
It wears human skin because he wants to feel like a little boy. That film is gonna destroy childhoods. So yeah.
Awesome. I love it. Scott, thank you so much for your time today, man. Peter Pan's
Oh, thank
Neverland
you.
Nightmare, January 13th, man. I hope to talk to you again soon, man. These movies are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Congrats.
totally. Thank you, thank you, thank you.